The Discovery Captain Zara Okafor pressed her palm against the cool metal of the observation deck's viewport, watching the amber-tinted world of Proxima Centauri b slowly rotate below. The survey vessel Meridian had been mapping mineral deposits in the outer rim for 6 months, and this was supposed to be their final stop before returning to Earth. A routine scan of a planet marked in the database as hostile to all known life forms. "Captain," Dr. Malik Reeves called from his station, his voice tight with confusion. "You need to see this." Zara turned from the viewport, noting the deep furrow in her chief science officer's brow. In the 3 years they'd worked together, she'd learned that particular expression meant trouble. "What is it, Malik?" "I'm detecting energy signatures that shouldn't exist on this world." He gestured to his holographic display, which showed a 3-dimensional map of the planet's surface dotted with pulsing red markers. "These readings suggest active power generation, massive industrial-level output." Lieutenant Juno Voss looked up from her communications console, her cybernetic eye interface flickering as she processed data streams. "Dr. Reeves is right, Captain. I'm picking up electromagnetic emissions consistent with advanced technology, communication arrays, manufacturing facilities, possibly even spacecraft propulsion systems." "That's impossible," Commander Petra Halloway interjected from the tactical station. The military escort's leader rarely spoke unless security was involved, which made her participation all the more concerning. "This planet's atmosphere is 78% carbon dioxide with sulfuric acid rain. Surface temperature averages 112 degrees Celsius. Nothing could survive down there, let alone build cities." Zara moved to the central command console, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface as she pulled up the planet's official designation. Proxima Centauri b, catalogued as uninhabitable. Last survey was... She paused, her blood running cold. 94 years ago. Dr. Reeves straightened in his chair. "Captain, what was happening in this sector 94 years ago?" The answer came to Zara like a half-remembered nightmare. She'd studied the historical records during her academy training, one of the greatest tragedies of early interstellar colonization. The Perseverance, colony ship carrying 15,000 settlers to establish humanity's first foothold in the Proxima system. They were headed for Proxima C, but they never arrived, Juno finished quietly. The ship vanished somewhere, between Sol and their destination. All hands presumed lost. The bridge fell silent except for the gentle hum of life support systems. Zara stared at the energy readings on Dr. Reeves's display, her mind racing through possibilities, each more impossible than the last. "Run a full-spectrum analysis," she ordered. "I want to know everything about those energy signatures. Juno, scan for any artificial satellites or orbital installations. Petra, put us on yellow alert. I don't know what we're dealing with here." Over the next 4 hours, the picture that emerged defied all logic. The planet's surface showed clear signs of massive terraforming projects. Atmospheric processors were gradually converting the toxic air into something approaching breathability. Underground cities sprawled beneath the acidic surface, connected by vast networks of tunnels and transport tubes. Most impossibly of all, life signs registered throughout the installations, human life signs. "Captain," Juno's voice cracked with excitement, "I'm receiving a transmission." "From where?" "The planet's surface. It's in English. Or something. Close to it." Zara felt her pulse quicken. "Put it through." The bridge speakers crackled with static, then cleared to reveal a voice that was unmistakably human, yet somehow different. The accent was unfamiliar, with tonal variations that seemed to carry meaning beyond the words themselves. "Meridian, this is Haven Control. We have been watching your approach for 7 rotations. State your purpose in our system." Zara exchanged glances with her crew before responding. "Haven Control, this is Captain Zara Okafor of the survey vessel Meridian. We're conducting a routine mineral survey. Are you human?" A pause that stretched for long seconds. Then, what might have been laughter, though it carried harmonics no human throat should produce. "We were human once, Captain Okafor. We are something more now. You may land at coordinates 37.4 south, 62.1 west. Be warned, Our world is not kind to unchanged biology. Come prepared. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Changed biology? Dr. Reeves whispered. What does that mean? Commander Holloway was already moving toward the exit. It means we go in fully armed and environmentally sealed. Captain, I strongly recommend against any surface contact until we understand what we're dealing with. But Zara was already thinking beyond tactical concerns. If there were survivors from the Perseverance, if humanity had somehow found a way to thrive on this hellish world, the implications were staggering. This could represent the greatest discovery in human history, or its greatest threat. Prep. The atmospheric shuttle, she ordered. Full environmental suits, emergency rations for 72 hours. Malik, I want portable scanning equipment and sample collection gear. Juno, maintain constant communication with the ship. If we don't check in every 6 hours, you're to return to Sol and report our findings to Colonial Command. Captain, Petra protested. We have no idea what we're walking into down there. No, Zara agreed. But we have to find out. If there are humans on that planet, we can't just leave them. The shuttle descent took 3 hours through Proxima B's turbulent atmosphere. Through the reinforced viewports, the crew watched in amazement. As the landscape below revealed itself to be far more than the barren wasteland their sensors had suggested. Massive dome structures dotted the surface, connected by elevated transport tubes that gleamed like silver threads against the amber sky. Atmospheric processors towered like metallic mountains, their exhaust plumes gradually transforming the poison air into something that registered as marginally breathable on their instruments. My God, Dr. Reeves murmured. The scale of this operation. It would take centuries to accomplish this level of terraforming with conventional technology. As they approached the designated landing coordinates, Zara could see figures moving across the surface without environmental suits, moving with a fluid grace that seemed almost impossible in the planet's heavy gravity and toxic atmosphere. The Mi shuttle touched down on a platform that appeared to be grown rather than built, its surface rippling with an organic quality that made Zara's skin crawl. Through the viewport, she watched as a delegation approached their craft. The figures were undeniably human in basic shape, but something about their proportions seemed wrong. They were taller than baseline humans, with elongated limbs and torsos. Their skin had an opalescent quality that seemed to shift color in the amber light. The lead figure raised a hand in what was unmistakably a greeting, and Zara found herself staring into eyes that were twice the size of normal human eyes, adapted for the planet's dim, filtered sunlight. Well, she said to her crew, checking her environmental suit seals one final time. Let's go meet our cousins. As the shuttle's airlock cycled open, Zara Okafor stepped onto the surface of an impossible world to meet the remnants of humanity's greatest lost expedition. Survivors who had become something entirely new in their struggle to claim this hostile planet as home. The figure who greeted them spoke in that same strangely accented English they'd heard over the radio, but now Zara could see the physical changes that made such speech possible. The colonist's throat and chest cavity had been altered, allowing for the complex harmonic overtones that added layers of meaning to every word. Welcome to Haven, the figure said, and Zara realized she was looking at the future of human evolution, whether she was ready for it or not. The truth unveiled. The being who had greeted them introduced herself as Kestrel Thorne, though Captain Zara Okafor suspected that wasn't the name she'd been born with 94 years ago. As they walked through Haven's outer districts, Zara tried to process what she was seeing. The colonists moved with an eerie synchronization, as if responding to signals her crew couldn't perceive. You're wondering about our coordination, Kestrel said without turning around, somehow sensing Zara's thoughts. It's natural to be disturbed by what you don't understand. Dr. Malik Reeves stumbled slightly as he tried to keep pace while scanning the colonists with his portable instruments. Your metabolic readings are off the charts. Heart rate, brain activity, cellular regeneration. Everything is operating at levels that should be impossible for human physiology. Kestrel's opalescent skin shifted to a deeper amber hue, what Zara was beginning to recognize as amusement. Dr. Reeves, You're still thinking in terms of baseline human limitations. We abandoned those constraints decades ago. They entered what appeared to be the colony's central district through an airlock that dilated like an iris. Inside, the atmosphere was breathable, though it carried an ozone-sharp scent that made Zara's eyes water. Lieutenant Juno Voss immediately began recording everything, her cybernetic interfaces working overtime to catalog the impossible architecture surrounding them. The buildings seemed alive, their walls pulsing gently with bioluminescent patterns. That reminded Zara uncomfortably of neural networks. Children played in the streets, if they could still be called children. They were taller than human adolescents but moved with an uncanny precision, their games involving complex, three-dimensional patterns that hurt to watch directly. The second generation, Kestrel explained, following Zara's gaze, born here, shaped by our world. They've never known the limitations their grandparents carried from Earth. Commander Petra Holloway had remained silent throughout their journey, but now she stepped forward, her hand resting on her weapon. What happened to the original colonists from the Perseverance? They became us, a new voice answered. The speaker emerged from what Zara had initially mistaken for a decorative wall panel. The colony's architecture apparently included spaces for inhabitants to merge temporarily with the living structure itself. This newcomer was even more changed than Kestrel, his elongated form suggesting extensive modification over many decades. "I am Orion Vega," he said, his voice carrying harmonic frequencies that seemed to resonate in Zara's bones. "I was chief engineer aboard the Perseverance. Now, I am something more." Dr. Reeves pulled out his scanner, his scientific curiosity overriding diplomatic protocol. "Your bone density, muscle composition. You've undergone systematic genetic modification on a scale I've never seen. The precision required for this level of change would be impossible with Earth technology," Orion agreed. "Fortunately, we didn't rely solely on what we brought from home." He gestured for them to follow him deeper into the colony's core. As they walked, Zara noticed that the other colonists they passed didn't speak aloud but seemed to communicate through subtle shifts in their bioluminescent skin patterns and minute changes in posture. It was like watching a conversation conducted in a language of living light. "The collective consciousness," Juno whispered, her cybernetic eye recording the interactions. "They're operating as a networked intelligence." "Not quite," Kestrel corrected, somehow hearing the whispered comment from 20 meters away. "We maintain individual identity, but we share certain cognitive processes. It makes survival more efficient." They reached the colony's heart, a vast chamber dominated by structures that definitely hadn't originated on Earth. Crystalline formations pulsed with energy, their surfaces covered in symbols that seemed to shift and change as Zara watched. The air here hummed with power that made her teeth ache. "This is what saved us," Orion explained, placing his modified hand against one of the crystal structures. "When the Perseverance crashed, we found more than just a hostile world. We found the remnants of a civilization that had faced the same challenge we did: how to survive on a planet that wanted to kill them." Dr. Reeves approached the nearest formation, his instruments detecting energy patterns unlike anything in human databases. "These are xenotech artifacts. You've been using alien technology to modify yourselves." "To evolve ourselves," Kestrel corrected firmly. "The previous inhabitants of this world left behind more than ruins. They left behind the tools of transformation. We simply had the courage to use them." Commander Holloway's tactical training finally overcame her amazement. "You're talking about fundamental alteration of human DNA using technology we don't understand. The implications for the species are magnificent," Orion interrupted, his skin patterns shifting to brilliant gold. "Captain Okafor, your people, still think in terms of human limitations. We think in terms of human potential." Zara felt a chill that had nothing to do with the chamber's temperature. "What are you proposing?" "We're not proposing anything," Kestrel said. "We're offering. The galaxy is full of worlds that could support human life if humans were willing to change. Desert worlds too hot for baseline biology, ice worlds too cold, toxic atmospheres that could be breathed with the right modifications. We've proven it's possible." As if responding to her words, the crystalline structures pulsed brighter, and Zara felt something probe at the edges of her consciousness, a gentle but alien touch that made her stagger backward. "The collective wants to know if you're ready," Orion explained. "The transformation isn't just physical, it's mental, spiritual. You become part of something larger while remaining yourself." Dr. Reeves was frantically scanning the crystal formations, his readings showing energy patterns that peaked whenever the colonists touched the structures. "This is how you're networked. These artifacts are facilitating some form of quantum entanglement between your neural processes." "Among other things," Kestrel agreed. "Pain shared is pain diminished. Joy shared is joy multiplied. Knowledge shared is knowledge expanded. We haven't lost our humanity, Captain. We've transcended its limitations." Juno's cybernetic interfaces were flashing warning patterns. "Captain, I'm detecting massive data transmission directed at our location. They're trying to establish some kind of neural link." The realization hit Zara like a physical blow. "You're trying to convert us." "We're trying to help you evolve," Orion said, his voice carrying what might have been sadness. "Your ship, your crew, you represent the old way of thinking. Humanity confined by biological constraints, limited by individual consciousness, bound to worlds that match your narrow parameters for survival." The chamber filled with more colonists, all of them moving with that disturbing coordination. Their skin patterns began synchronizing, creating waves of light that washed across the crystalline structures and made the air itself seem to sing. "The offer stands," Kestrel said, her voice now harmonizing with unseen others. "Join us willingly and the transformation will be gentle. You'll retain your memories, your personalities, your essential selves. You'll simply become more than you ever imagined possible." Commander Holloway drew her weapon, though Zara suspected it would be useless against beings who had transcended normal human vulnerabilities. "And if we refuse, then you leave," Orion replied, his tone suggesting genuine puzzlement. "We're not conquerors, Commander. We're gardeners. We plant seeds of possibility and let them grow naturally. But you won't let us report this to Colonial Command," Zara said, understanding dawning. "You can't risk the galaxy learning about this place until you're ready." The collective's skin patterns shifted to deeper, more ominous hues. "The galaxy will learn when the galaxy is ready to understand. Premature contact would lead to fear, panic, potentially military intervention. We've seen how your people react to change." Dr. Reeves looked up from his instruments, his face pale. "Captain, these readings. The energy output from these crystals is increasing exponentially. If they wanted to, they could probably disable our shuttle, maybe even reach our ship in orbit." "We don't want to," Kestrel said softly. "But we will if necessary. We've spent 94 years building something beautiful here. We won't let fear destroy it." Zara felt the weight of decision pressing down on her. The colonists weren't threatening them directly, but the implication was clear. They could leave and remain silent, or they could be made to remain silent permanently. "There's a third option," she said finally. "Gradual contact. We report that we found survivors from the Perseverance, but we don't mention the full extent of your evolution. Let the galaxy get used to the idea that humans can adapt to hostile worlds. Then when they're ready, you can reveal more." The collective's skin patterns shifted to contemplative blues and greens. Zara could feel them conferring through their quantum-linked consciousness, processing her proposal at speeds no individual mind could match. "Acceptable," Orion said finally. "But we want observers. Members of your crew who stay behind to ensure the agreement is honored." Commander Holloway stepped forward immediately. "I'll stay." "As will I," Dr. Reeves added, his scientific fascination overcoming his caution. "This represents the greatest discovery in human history. Someone needs to study and document it properly." Zara felt a pang of loss, but recognized the necessity. "Very well. Juno and I will return to the Meridian with sealed testimony about your survival. The full truth will be revealed gradually as humanity proves ready to accept it." As they prepared to leave Haven, Kestrel approached Zara one final time. "Captain, you've made a wise choice. Evolution cannot be stopped, only guided. When your people are ready to transcend their limitations, we'll be here waiting. Walking back to the shuttle, Zara couldn't shake the feeling that she'd just witnessed the future of humanity, whether the rest of the galaxy was ready for it or not. The colonists of Haven had solved the ultimate challenge of space exploration, not by changing hostile worlds to suit human needs, but by changing humans to thrive anywhere in the universe. The question that would haunt her journey back to Earth was simple. Was this evolution or extinction? And did the distinction even matter anymore?